Hello, are we
Hello.
live? Are we? I mean, I will.
Okay.
I'll ask her about her day. I
Yes.
just want some sort of indication that somebody besides you is listening, Jeff. Hi, I'm Dan. This is Tina. We're going to wait until more
Hello.
people are online because it's time for our first DCI News Network live Facebook wrap-up, YouTube wrap-up of everything that's been going on here. We are online. Awesome. I'm Dan Potter. That's Tina Pliagas. Hi, Tina.
Hi, Dan.
Tell me a little bit about Tina Pliagas. Do you have a drum corps background?
I don't have a drum corps background actually, but I've always been just a huge band geek, if we're going to use that
Yes,
term.
we are.
And
Lovingly, we
lovingly,
always do.
of course. But yeah, I mean, just was a huge fan of DCI, and I'm happy that now I get to work the annual meetings as part of the team.
Yeah, the DCI News Network. How cool is that, right?
It's awesome, and we're happy to be launching it for sure.
Yeah, it's it's a work in progress. We're kind of figuring out what it is ourselves as we do this, and we're going to get started with our first evening wrap-up in just a moment. If you're just joining us, thanks for being here. We're going to hold on for just a second. Got lots of good stuff to tell you about, and a special guest tonight, too. The DCI News Network, we've posted several stories today. In fact, you started yesterday with the orientation meeting for new corps directors, right?
We did, yes. So all of the new corps directors, both world class and open class, did a cube crawl in the DCI headquarters.
A cube crawl?
A cube crawl. So we had the chance to meet all of them. They got to see us and the work that we do in the office. And we had quite a few special guests in that group.
Tina's got a story about that posted right now. You can check that out. Jeff, do you think we've got enough online? Can we go ahead and start this thing?
Yeah,
Has the graph gone up like this?
We got about 40 on YouTube.
Well, we don't want to keep them waiting. 40 on YouTube.
4 more on Facebook. A few more.
Okay.
All right.
Shall I make it official?
Yeah, about 150 on Facebook.
Oh yeah, we're ready.
Let's
We're
go.
ready. Thank you guys for being so patient. So let me start. Good evening from Indianapolis and from the Drum Corps International Annual Meetings and the Health, Wellness, and Safety Summit. I'm Dan Potter. That's Tina Pliagas. And each evening throughout this event, the DCI News Network is going to provide you a wrap-up of the top developments from today's meetings and the events that are taking place here in Indianapolis. Today, easily the most newsworthy event was the revocation of the membership status of Pioneer Drum and Bugle Corps by DCI's voting membership. And when I say voting membership, many of you already know that DCI is governed by its member corps as well as some at-large membership, at-large members. So when I say voting membership, that's who we're talking about here. As DCI CEO Dan Atchison said in a statement that you can see in our earlier coverage, or you can read in its entirety at dci.org, Dan said, in August of 2018, Pioneer received disciplinary action for policy violations, resulting in suspension from all DCI activities. Today's action, he says, reflects the commitment of Drum Corps International to maintain the standards of excellence for all participating organizations. And then Dan Atchison went on to say that if Pioneer makes adjustments, if they make improvements that meet DCI standards, then Pioneer will be eligible to reapply for open class status in 2020. Tina?
So Dan, as you know, Thursday at the DCI annual meetings is largely a business day for the voting membership and the DCI board of directors. But tomorrow the pace really picks up, as well as the number of participants, as the drum majors from our world and open class corps arrive here in Indianapolis for the annual leadership summit. Also tomorrow, while some of the instructors, judges, and creative designers have already checked in for the weekend, the rest will arrive Friday for a summit with a wide-ranging focus on the health, wellness, and safety topics that everyone involved with DCI will be a part of. So with that, make sure that you guys check out my stories on Instagram posted today about those new director orientation classes that we held during the week.
Rick Valenzuela, Phantom Regiment. You guys know Rick's been a corps director for years and years and years. Rick Valenzuela went to this freshman orientation for new corps directors?
He did indeed. As the chair of the voting membership committee, he wanted to be part of the meetings because this was the first time that he had the chance to be part of that orientation. So you can read more about it on dci.org, see his experience. We have a full wrap-up of that there.
Okay. I talked earlier today with Genevieve Geisler, who's the CFO and COO of the Bluecoats, but she is also the chair of DCI's In Step initiative. That's the Women in DCI initiative. Great interview with Genevieve. You can check that out as well. Tina, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.
By the way, folks, we're going to give Tina a computer. She's going to go over here offset for just a little bit. You can post your questions right now, anything you want to know about the annual meetings, or questions you might have for our special guest who we're going to bring out here in just a second. That would be Tom Blair, the executive producer of all the DCI video products. All right, Tina, you're going to monitor those questions for us?
Will do, yes. So
Okay.
send them in, and I'll see you soon.
Cool. We'll talk to you in a little bit. So, also, at the end of each day here in Indianapolis, we are going to welcome a special guest to the set. And tonight's guest, as I mentioned, is Tom Blair, the executive producer of the DCI World Championships live stream, the DCI Big, Loud, and Live movie theater production of prelims. Let me see. I know I'm leaving something out. Well, most importantly for our purposes here tonight, the producer of the DCI Blu-rays. Tom Blair, welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to be here.
Well, it's very exciting to be here on the launch of the big DCI News Network.
We spared no expense in our set.
I like the waterfall too.
Yeah, oh yeah, we ought to explain that. If it sounds like shh, like white noise when you're listening to us.
I thought you were going to say something there. I'm a little concerned.
We're on the balcony, second floor, kind of the mezzanine of the Hyatt Regency, and just over that balcony is a big waterfall feature. So that white noise you're hearing is the waterfall. Maybe we'll do a little behind-the-scenes tour tomorrow, let people kind of see where we're situated.
I think
here.
you should.
Yeah. I said Blu-rays earlier, the producer of the Blu-rays. I did not say DVDs. Like VHS, DVD has had its day, and we're moving on, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're so much more excited about the Blu-ray. I think we're living in an HD world at this point, and so we just kind of thought it was time. I mean, when we're producing these things, we're working in HD the whole time, and then we move back to the standard definition DVDs, and we always have to go back to the previous year to make sure we're not seeing things, because the difference in quality between the HD Blu-ray and the DVD is just staggering.
And the cost of a Blu-ray player now is it's low,
you
right?
see them on the shelf for $35-40.
Yeah.
I mean, and they'll play a DVD, so it's not like you got to throw away your DVD library. So yeah, it's just time. We put so much effort into it, and DCI is just the most unbelievable supporter of quality in what we do. It's just kind of a shame to knock it down to standard def
Well,
now.
right. I guess, and we as an organization, we take that quality we demand from the performers on the field, and that demand is there for kind of everything we produce.
Well, and believe me, I hear it from the consumers.
Yeah.
If it's anything less than, I'm going to take the blame for the standard we've created. You know, people aren't happy.
The blame or the credit. Listen, there's one question that I know will come up, will be posted if we don't address it right now. When, Tom? When are we going to see some Blu-rays?
We're pretty confident we're going to ship the end of January.
Okay.
And I mean, that's when they're going to start leaving the warehouse. We're in the test phase right now. The discs, the whole mastering process is fairly elaborate.
Yeah.
I mean, beyond production, and then post-production, the editing and the mixing and all of that, then you got to actually manufacture the discs.
Right.
That's where we're at now.
Okay. That leads to my next question. We all know there are licensing concerns with the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Which is a bigger challenge, all the post-production stuff or the licensing? Which causes the delay?
Oh, it's the licensing for
Yeah.
sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. We've had the content finished for quite a while now, but the licensing, again, DCI is very particular, very, I mean, and legitimately so.
Sure.
They do things the right way, and you got to have everything licensed, and or it's not on the disc. And there's a difference between a license that is applied for and we're waiting for it versus one that's denied. And if a content owner, a publisher, an artist says, no, you can't use this, we can't use it. So we've got to remove it.
And I think a lot of people may not understand that there are many different types of licenses too. You can have a license for live performance or for a stream, a one-time kind of event.
And to arrange.
And to arrange, all of those different but there's a mechanical license, and that is what we're talking about here with Blu-rays, right?
There's a mechanical license, and that relates to the CDs. What we're talking about is a sync license.
Okay.
And that's
sound and visual together.
Right. It's taking somebody's sound and synchronizing it with a picture. And honestly, it doesn't matter what the picture is. It could be the performance. It could be a picture of your, grandmother. It doesn't matter. If there's an image associated with it, it requires a synchronization license. It's the synchronizing of sound with picture.
Okay.
And that's what we wait for. Everything else has already been done.
We've seen your broadcasts evolve over the years, just like the activities evolved. And I'm kind of curious, we've got corps like Vanguard and Blue Coats and many of the world-class corps now using large props, moving them around the field, elevating performers off the field.
Right.
Has that presented challenges to you in the way you shoot the performances?
I'd say the scenery, the props, the platforms, all of that, it doesn't really create a problem. I mean, we research these performances. We start watching them mid-season. We're taking notes. We understand where they're going to be, where the baritone solo is going to be, the Santa Clara, baritone solos on the left and the right, and so we're prepared for all that stuff. Some of the tools, some of the shots maybe we used to use, reverse angle, you can't do that because now you can see behind the scenery. So so where there might have been an opportunity for a tremendous crowd shot coming from some of those cameras we have in the back, can't use it because I don't want to reveal something going on behind the scenes. Disneyland backstage.
What's your personal favorite moment, do you think, from all of the years that you've
all of the years?
Well, okay, I know that's a daunting question, but you've got to have a couple that kind of pop to mind as moments that you went, wow, that was really cool.
Well, I'll tell you, this year, I had a moment, if you will. We go through hours and hours and hours and hours of the editing on this stuff and the mixing, and there are a lot of people involved that put in a lot of hours, and eventually you sit down and you watch and you listen. And I had gone to our mixing studio in Chicago and sat down to approve the mix of the Santa Clara Vanguard this year. And I'm sitting in the perfect spot right in the middle of the surround field, and I got overcome. And the staff's all sitting kind of behind me.
Did you cry, Tom?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, and that happens
Doesn't that make you feel good hearing that from Tom Blair, that even he, with all the exposure to all of the performances,
you'd think could be more jaded, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's this. I'll go out on a limb. I'll say this is the best mix ever. It's we worked. You remember last year we were here and we did a lot of work
audio.
with the cores related to audio, getting us direct feeds and trying to give us the tools to make them sound maybe better than on the field, just in the sense that it's a different medium, right? Mm-hmm. And they, to a large extent, did a great job of getting us those feeds. And so the Blue Coats, for example, the young girl singing.
Olivia Hayter.
Thank you. I knew it was there. I just couldn't quite get
Tulsa
there.
girl.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean, just a real talent. when you hear her in the surround mix, it's like you're right there. And it's because the Blue Coats gave us that feed. And so it allowed us to really make it sound like $1 million. I'm very excited.
Yeah, in putting together the field pass that we published about exactly a month after finals, I had access to the raw live mixes of the performances, and even those raw mixes were astonishingly transparent. They were just amazing. So I can't wait to hear what
Have you heard the
post-production
CD
mix-
yet?
I have not.
Oh man,
I have not. So
you want to hear the CD? It's phenomenal. I mean, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make it sound like we're phenomenal.
No.
The cores were so good, and there's a moment in Blue Coats. In the middle of the show, they kind of recapitulate what they did at the very beginning, and there's a solo trumpet player playing low range.
Yep.
What's amazing, and I pointed out to everybody that I play this for, is when he's playing all by himself in the stadium, there isn't a sound in the building. Because you remember back in the 80s, everybody's whistling, everybody, you know,
trying to
don't get
on
any
the,
ideas.
Trying to get on the CDs.
Don't get any ideas. I mean, everybody's captivated.
Sure.
And
They may have wanted to scream there, but they couldn't.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
One last thing, and you can still post your questions in the comments field, but before we bring Tina out here with your questions, you're kind of sneaky sometimes. You've put Easter eggs in these Blu-rays and DVDs before. Is there one this year?
What's an Easter egg?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There is one this year, isn't there?
There is. And
You going to tell us what it is?
an Easter egg is maybe a little bit of an insider term. It means hidden content that you have to look for on the disc. And we've put an Easter egg. We had an Easter egg on last year's disc. I'll throw that out.
I never found last year's.
But this year's Easter egg, I'm going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
On semifinals night, on Friday night, there was a remarkable group that performed at the end of the night called the Free Players.
Yeah, is it the Free Players performance?
It's the Free Players performance in its entirety.
Oh my God.
And it's amazing what these guys do.
Well, simply one of my favorite moments in over 30 years involved in this activity.
Yeah.
It was an amazing, amazing event. Oh, that's cool.
So it's hidden content.
Okay.
There's a secret button that you've got to find that triggers the playback. You won't find it on the menu, and you have to be. I give you on a Blu-ray remote. You need a Blu-ray remote.
Okay.
And you need to know what core I marched in.
Okay.
And that's what that's.
All right.
If you've got that information, you can probably.
I feel privileged that we have the information of what that Easter egg is. That's going to motivate a lot of people to go look for it.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
we wrestled with, maybe just put it on the main menu, but we like to keep it interesting.
That's fun. That is really fun.
That's what we did.
Let's bring Tina Pliagas back out here. Tina, when you come out here, could you grab my water too, please? Have we been getting a lot of questions?
We have gotten a lot of great questions.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
So thank
Cool.
you guys for submitting those this evening.
All right, lay it down. What do we got?
All right, well, the first one, Tom, what did you play and where did you march?
Well, okay, that'll help in our Easter egg hunt, won't it?
All right. Well, my left hand was in this position. I should say that I played bass drum. I carried a timpani. I played tenor, and I played snare. So the core in which I played snare drum, that's the clue. Should I?
Yes, you should.
All right.
Yes,
I've marched
you
in the
should.
Cavaliers.
Green.
Green.
Green button.
Green color.
Think green.
All
But you
right.
have to be in a certain point on the disc, so
Okay.
What year was your last year in the Cavaliers?
1980.
1980, okay.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
old.
That's when I graduated from high school. I'm a little bit younger than you are.
Whatever.
All right. Also, when will we see DCI in 4K?
Ooh.
I think I think it's probably going to hit the theaters first. But honestly, being in the business, I wonder if 4K is going to be eclipsed. I mean, they have 8K out there as, test technology. I think 4K would be great. I thought that 3D might be fun, but obviously that didn't really pan out. It's just a question of economics. If we can do it in an affordable way, and if the market says they'll pay for it, then we'll do it.
All right, exciting days coming up for sure. So is Drum Corps directing your full-time job, or are there other shows that you work on throughout the year?
I have been toying. This has been my avocation for a very long time. But I work in the television production business. I do a lot of sports. I worked for Oprah Winfrey for a number of years. I do
Final Four, right?
I did 24 of those.
Okay.
24 Final Fours.
In fact, what's the montage that you do? The Road to the Final Four? Is that the
No, it's called One Shining Moment.
One Shining Moment. That's
which plays at the end of each championship game. So in beginning of April, every Monday night, I was, editing my fingers to the bone, trying to get a 3.5-minute piece done in a short period of time.
I've seen so many other people do that for DCI and for Bands of America as we've had our big events trying to get that montage done before the end of Grand Nationals or World Championships. Yeah. You had to do that for the Final Four, 24 years.
Yeah, the crazy thing is the notoriety associated with that piece.
I imagine.
I mean, I was on National Public Radio talking about One Shining Moment.
How you put it together.
It's crazy.
What else?
This next question is a great one. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened on a live broadcast?
On a live broadcast? Well, of course, there was always Kurt Gowdy, referring to the Star of Indiana as the Kansas City Star, which is a newspaper. He never got Steve Rondinero's name right.
Rondinero?
I went out to lunch with him the day before the show. What year? Maybe it was, I don't remember what year, 92 maybe, or something like that, 93. And explained to him that he never got his name right. He was very embarrassed and never got it wrong after that. But we've had equipment failures. When it's a live production, you have no idea what's going to happen. You know about
that. Well, let me ask you this. When you do the live production, but then you also produce the DVD, now Blu-rays, have you had to take from, say, semifinals, shots from semifinals and use them in the finals product because of a technical screw up or something like that?
You know what? I won't say it's never a technical screw up, but that's very rarely the reason why we do it.
A performance issue?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes a coverage issue. Every once in a while, more than every once in a while, we'll get a judge that walks in front of the camera the night of finals. But philosophically, the competition's over, okay? So the Blu-ray is the ultimate record of what this performance was. I don't want a kid playing a solo to hear himself for the rest of his life blowing it on finals night. I don't want the big rifle toss at the end of the effect laying on the field. Competition's over. I want this to be the ultimate memory of what they did.
The best representation of their entire season, not necessarily that one night.
Absolutely. So if somebody has a problem on finals night, we'll go back to a different night. But you got to be careful with that, because Alan Christensen judged finals. Somebody else judged
continuity,
semifinals. Yeah. So if the judge is in the shot, then I can't switch that shot out. So and I say I don't mean to. It's Jeff Clark. It's, you know, a lot of people involved in this production.
Time for one more?
I got all the time in the world.
All right, one more. Tom, who do you think is going to win 2019?
Wow.
This is a reliable Rondo question.
Well,
Trusty Tom.
It will be the drum corps consumer who will always win, because DCI and DCI drum corps constantly amaze and constantly raise the bar. And yes, I know, yeah, I'm being silly, but honestly, it's very true. When you saw drum corps in 1993, or, you know, pick a year,
Yeah.
didn't you think we were there? You know, it's like, how can they do anything else? How can they do anything better?
Surely next year will be a disappointment. You know?
Honest to God, every year. And every year I'm sitting here going, I can't believe what they're doing.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. So it's a goofy way to answer your question. Who knows who's going to win? I mean, really. But every year they just continue to amaze.
Yeah. We do win as fans. And
sure.
I'll tell you another way we win. We win because we got you pushing this product, and you talk about the cores getting better every year. Honestly, the broadcasts get better every year, Tom, and Drum Corps is lucky to have you. Thank you for stopping by, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Tom Blair, executive producer of the Drum Corps International Video Products. Much more to come from Indianapolis. This is only Thursday. We've got Friday, Saturday to go, and a lot of business to get to. Tina and I will be here to cover it for you, and we'll be back here every night for long extended chat. So we hope you can join us. For Tina Pliagas and Tom Blair, I'm Dan Potter. Have a great night from Indianapolis. Good night.